Travelers, vacation travel hacks here with just talking about a commonly asked question. It's Port Canaveral, as you know, or maybe didn't, is now the world's busiest cruise port, and a lot of questions about a lot of logistics on how to get there. So right now, we've been there many times. We've part of our group has flown. Some of us have driven. So I'll cover all things Port Canaveral here. This information changes sometimes, so I don't want anyone to say, "Whoa, this travel hacks guy told me such and such." PortCanaveral.com is where you can get a lot of information. I'm highlighting some of the key links that we're going to go through here today. So. Port Canaveral, we're going to review some lodging around the area, transportation, port orientation. So here's a map of Orlando. You got Orlando over here in the top left-hand corner. If you're flying into Orlando the day before the cruise, and remember, flying in the day before the cruise is the highly recommended thing to do. It will cost a little bit more, but if with the state of airfare, if you get delayed, canceled, and you're flying in the day of, you run a risk of missing the cruise ship. And with vacation travel hacks, our mantra has always been better safe than sorry. So spend a little bit more and then have a little bit of peace. So a bunch of hotels around the Orlando International Airport area. There's also some as you get closer to the University of Central Florida. But if you fly in, this is probably where you'll stay. It's about a 45-minute drive to the port without construction, and you'll take the 528. 528 takes you all the way to Port Canaveral, and we'll zoom in on that in another item. If you're flying into other airport, we got Melbourne down here to the south. You might stay at any one of these beach destinations here, and if you're staying up near Titusville or Daytona or anywhere in between, you'll be taking 95 down and going over to a bunch of hotels up here. We've stayed at some of the Hilton properties by the airport, and we drove in, and then my family, they flew in from the West Coast, and they took GoPort. So how do you get in? If you fly, how do you get to the cruise port if you've flown in? Carnival does. Most the cruise lines offer transportation. It'll pick you up. I believe it was about $45 each way per person. The cost fluctuates, so it'll be part of your excursions. Check your excursion list; it's there. GoPort is highly recommended by a lot of the folks on the cruise forums. And then there's private shuttles. You can get a limo. I've taken a limo to a cruise port. It's a lot of fun. Everyone thinks you're important, and then you step out and they're pretty disappointed to see that you were not important. But hey, we're all important. We're travelers. There's also hotels closer to the port that offer shuttles. So if you're staying near the beaches, in and around Cape Canaveral, there's some hotels will offer shuttles, and then some hotels will source out shuttles and charge a fee. And then if you drive to the port, we'll talk about this in an upcoming slide. You can park at the port or park off port if you want to save a little bit. GoPort, as I mentioned, GoPort.com. Bunch of options. You'd be booking a hotel through them. You're paying kind of up front. You just pick where you want to stay. You're flying into the airport. They can pick you up. If you're need round trip transportation to and from, you just select your options, the dates. You can pick your cruise ship. Then what happens is they'll send you an email telling you, hey, be outside your hotel at such and such a time. And a car at such and such a time, a car will, I call it a lead car, will come out and say, hey, you guys here for GoPort? They'll give you some tags to put on your luggage. And then they get in the car, and later on a much bigger bus shows up to pick you up and take you to the cruise port, drop you off in front of the cruise. So GoPort.com, check out the website. There's other options, but this is the one that we do. Now, if you drive, you remember a couple slides back, everything led to Port Canaveral. And so if you're doing Carnival or Disney or Norwegian or MSC's right here, you'll be in this this cluster, and all the traffic feeds in A1A, and there'll be signs everywhere. Hey, if you're on Disney Magic or Disney Wish or whatever is that you're at this terminal, and I'll show you how to figure out which terminal is which. So if you won't have to worry about this if you're on a bus. They're going to take you right to where you need to go. If you're, you got Royal Caribbean here, you got the Mardi Gras, which is down here. It's a bigger ship, so they had to make like their own little thing down here. And there are the big parking garages all the way around where you can park, and it's $18. Otherwise, like I said, the buses would just drop you off. And then back to here. To get directions and the parking rates, I believe it was $18 a day is what we thought to park at the cruise port. So went in, dropped off our bags. There's a line. It takes about 30-45 minutes if you're, trying to get parking. It's just, well, that's with the 12:30 embarkment. If you get a little earlier, it might be maybe the volume isn't as bad yet. Everyone wants to be early. Nobody wants to be late. And hey, can you blame them? So anyway, I put this thing back here again. And here's an example of the schedules that I showed you on the last slide. Shows the date, which ship, which cruise terminal. And again, if you're driving, pay attention, do research. This will tell you where to park. You don't want to park down by Mardi Gras if you're, going to be at cruise terminal 1. So it's a big, it's a big thing to do. And it lets you know what time they're getting there and what time you're leaving. In another video, we'll talk about best practices on getting off the ship. But I just wanted to orientate you to the Port Canaveral area. I think this is a pretty good start and gets you off and going. And this is what we did. I don't want to say it's thoughtless. It requires a little bit of thought. But if you give yourself from the time you leave the hotel to the time you're expected to board, if you give yourself about an hour and a half of travel time, you should be real close to your boarding window. Always trust, hey, team, always trust Google Maps. They'll give you the actual lowdown. So, hey, travel safely. Remember, your time is precious. But, hey, travel time is even more precious. Safe travels, team.